Hello, we are going to talk about multiplying fractions tonight. So before we get started, we're going to do a quick review of fractions and then we will get going. So remember, anything that I am writing, you should also be writing. Please put your name, the date, all that good stuff, and you are responsible for having this completely filled out for class tomorrow. So let's start with a quick review. A fraction is a part of a whole. So in order to simplify fractions, all we do is blank the numerator and denominator by the greatest common factor between the two numbers. All we do is divide. And we always need to simplify fractions for our final answers. So let's practice simplifying each of these. So let's zoom in a little bit here. All right, number 1, 16/30ths. I know that 16 can be divided by 4, but 30 can't. So I think all I can do here is divide by 2, numerator and denominator. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 30 divided by 2 is 15. Can I go any more simple than that? No, because 8 and 15 do not have any factors in common, so 8/15ths is the simplest form. Number 2, 12/25ths. Well, the only thing divisible by 25 is 5, and 5 can't go into 12, so actually 12/25ths is already in simplest terms. And number 3, 10/100ths. 10 parts out of 100 total parts. My easy, quick go-to for this is we divide by 10, which really means we are getting rid of one of those zeros. So simplest form would be 1/10. All right, so hopefully that was a review. So let's go into our multiplication. The other day in class when we were brainstorming synonyms, names for operations, we came up with a term or a word for multiplication. So hopefully you remember that of tells us to multiply. So let's think about why this works. So look at the first example. What is half of 6? Half. How do I write half? 1/2 of 6. And I know of means multiply. So I'm actually doing, if I wanted to put this into an expression, it would be half times 6. But let's try and just think about this. Half of 6. If I have 6, I don't know, tally marks, I know that I need half of them. So 1, no, 1, no, 1, no. So I need 3 of them. So half of 6 is, or equals, 3. I also know that in order to write a whole number like a fraction, all I really need to do is put it over 1. So here we have a picture, we have the words, we have an equation. So let's think if we can figure out why this works. Let's look at another example. What is a fourth of 1? Okay, well, a fourth. A fourth is written like 1/4. Of tells me to multiply. 1. Okay, so 1/4 of 1. If I have 1 candy bar here, and I want 1 out of 4 parts, I would need to have 4 equal parts, and all I want is 1 of them. So a fourth of 1 is or is equal to 1/4. Again, if I were to write that whole number 1 like a fraction, it'd be 1/1. 1/4. maybe we're seeing a pattern. So it might be a little bit easier when we're thinking about whole numbers like these first two examples, because those kind of are just everyday scenarios we might run into. So let's take a look at the next example, because this is something a little different than what we would normally see. So what is 3/4 of 5/6? 3/4 of tells me I'm multiplying 5/6. So that means I need to start with 5/6. I'm going to draw a candy bar or whatever. Sorry for this bump. It should be straight. And I need 5 out of 6 equal pieces. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, I need 5 of those 6. Do a quick shade. Okay, so I have 5/6. I want 3/4 of those 5/6. So now what I'm going to do, going the opposite direction, I am going to now divide this candy bar into 4 equal parts, and I want 3 out of those 4. 1, 2, 3. So I want 3/4 of 5/6. So now I'm looking where both of those blue shadings overlap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 is how many overlap. Out of how many total boxes? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So 3/4 of 5/6 is 15 out of 24. Now hopefully you're starting to realize a pattern, or it's coming back to how you multiply fractions. Let's look at our next example. And I want to also make a diagram because it's important that we can show why these things work. 2/3 of 1/6. 2/3 of 1/6. So let's go ahead and draw our candy bar. Ooh, these are not very good. Oh, hello, Charlie. Say hi. Come here. Come here. Charlie's barking out the window. All right. Hey, buddy. Hi. You say hi? Okay, bye. So 2/3 of 1/6. So let's go ahead and divide our candy bar into 6 equal pieces. And I only want 1 of those 6 pieces. So I'm going to shade it this direction. Now I want 2/3 of that 1/6. So in the opposite direction, I need to show 2/3. So I'm going to cut it into 3 equal parts. And I want 2/3. So opposite direction, I'm going to shade 2/3. And here I see where they're overlapping. So what is 2/3 of 1/6? Well, it's just 2 out of 6 times 1, 2, 3, 18. This is not in simple. Ooh, the last one was not in simplest form either. I can divide both of these by 3. My bad. Hopefully you caught it. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So that's the one thing. The picture won't necessarily show us that simplest form, but it does show us kind of why this is working. 2/18, I can divide both of these parts by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Last one, 4/5 of 2/3 would look like 4/5 times 2/3. So let's go ahead and start with our 2/3. Drawing our candy bar. I need 2/3, 1/3, 2/3, and now I need 4/5 of those shaded 2/3. So the opposite direction, I need to cut it into 5 equal parts. This will be a little tough. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those cut it into 5 parts. I want 4 of those 5 parts. And I can see they are overlapping all in here. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 3 times 5 is 15. And again, the reason why I need to include all of it is because fractions need to be broken up into equal parts of a whole. Okay, so that's why I need to include 8 out of the total, because that's how many total equal pieces I have. Can 8/15ths be simplified anymore? Well, 15 is only divisible by 3 and 5. 8 is not, so yes, 8/15ths is simplest form. So let's take a look at all 3 of these examples we just did. Actually, all 5. Hopefully you've noticed a pattern. Even with our diagrams, our numbers are showing us that in order to multiply fractions, all we need to do is multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators straight across. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look at this last example. The numerators, 4 and 2, I multiply straight across. 4 times 2 is 8, and the denominators, 5 times 3 is 15. Okay? So you are going to do these next 5 examples. All you're doing is multiplying fractions. And then I would like you to also do it for these last 2, numbers 6 and 7, but this time I've given you mixed numbers. So let me recap really quickly because you're going to want to change these to improper fractions before you multiply across. For example, 1 1/2. 1 1/2. When I write it like this, in order to change this to an improper fraction, I'm going to multiply my denominator times my whole number and add my numerator. So 1 1/2 can be written the same way as an improper fraction is 3/2. 2 2/3 can be written like 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8, and I leave my denominator the same. Okay? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 problems to do tonight for homework. Multiplying fractions, please bring this with you to class tomorrow. Thanks for watching.